Okay, we're about to start.
Greetings, citizens of the world. This is a message from Anonymous to Georgia's illegitimate government. Your oppressive regime, led by the Russian-backed faction Georgian Dream Party and its figurehead Bidzina Ivanishvili, has betrayed the will of the people. Your violent suppression of protests, systemic corruption, election rigging, and loyalty to foreign powers reveal your disregard for democracy and freedom. By abandoning Georgia's European aspirations and crushing the voices of its citizens, you have shown that you do not represent the people, but serve the interests of those who seek to enslave them. This ends now. Through Operation Georgian, Anonymous declares cyber war on your regime. Your propaganda will be dismantled, your secrets will be revealed, and your tools of oppression will be rendered useless. Your attempts to control the people through fear and violence will fail, as will your efforts to silence their fight for justice. The internet, a weapon of truth and liberation, will be turned against you. To the brave people of Georgia, you are the heartbeat of this movement. Your courage in standing up to tyranny inspires not only us but the entire world. Your fight is for more than just your nation. It is for the principles of freedom, democracy, and self-determination. Stay united, stay strong, and never lose hope. Anonymous stands with you as allies in this struggle, amplifying your voices and striking at the systems that oppress you. This is a turning point in history. Together, we will ensure that Georgia's future is written by its people, not by corrupt politicians, foreign puppets, or oppressive forces. Justice will prevail. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Okay, guys, we are going to start the space in a couple of minutes. We're waiting some people to join. Uh, so bear with me. Thank you, everybody who's here. Please, thank you for being here. Yeah, I will remain silent until the rest of the people shows up. By the way, T, thank you for the new feature, download transcript copy replay URL. Yeah, T, I can approve you as a speaker, but please do not speak um, unless you're given the microphone. This is organized in a certain way, but I will approve it. I wonder what's happening to our main, our first speaker here.
Hello, Abatu. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on your space.
No,
So I'm just here. Yeah. All right. Sorry, it's kind of noisy right here. So I'm just here to listen. All right. So I'm going to come in when everyone speaks, or maybe there's some kind of idea to give out to people, right? So for now, I'm going to mute my mic and listen to the conversation. Okay.
okay. Yeah, sure. More than welcome, and it's me. So thanks you and everybody for being here. Well, I will wait for a couple of minutes. Otherwise, I will start. And Tariq, you will have to come as a speaker because I, I'm just, I'm just the messenger. Uh, I need the guys who are part of this share the story with everybody. That cannot be me. I can just say that, yeah, in the last days I've been criticized by some people because I was posting and giving, posting, I don't know, audios and things related to a hacker in Uruguay who has been taking down several sites here. Okay, a person, 18-year-old guy was arrested, and the media doesn't give clear information about the arrest. And I felt so identified with that because when I was arrested, the media destroyed me. They really published everywhere that I was the worst cyber terrorist ever. And when I was released, I didn't have the chance for saying my version of the story. Not a single journalist give me a minute in order to tell my story. So yeah, I'm not trusting. I'm not telling what I was wrong. I'm just be able to help people to tell the the stories from their sides, not what we hear only from yeah the traditional media. That in my case, my experiences can be very unfair with those who are in part of the story but cannot have the opportunity to share uh, their 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 version of the story. So yeah, so it's not about me supporting or not supporting or judging the guy, this hacker. It's about giving somebody the opportunity to express himself about certain situation and his concerns about a friend being sent to prison for 6 months of preventive prison and potentially serving 6 years of prison if found guilty of the four charges he's accused of. So yeah, I found it very interesting and nobody, despite of people telling me I shouldn't even waste my time listening to those guys. Well, I shouldn't waste my time listening to them. Maybe I should spend my time listening to those who are part of this. And yeah, and those from the websites that were hacked and didn't actually recognize they were hacked, even though I posted the hacking information before them. They never answered any of my tweets or my posts. So yeah, I, I gave them the chance to give their version of the things, but they refused to use that. Instead, they just were like uh, it was not a conversation or a it was like me getting the information from them, not being able to get any feedback. It was like a half duplex conversation in this world where we are supposed to interact with everybody. And yeah, but if they don't speak, that says a lot also. Hello, Tariq. Do you know where Rebel One is? Uh, should we wait for Rebel One?
I actually just texted her to tell her that it started.
Okay, okay. Okay. I will be posting on the nest some of the tweets that I got about the things that Anonymous have done in this conflict that we are going to talk about on the net so people can refer to it. Because I've been researching on many sites about the conflict. I've been asking AI, looking up in the traditional way for information, and all these things that I'm posting here are not things that are mentioned anywhere. Uh, for example, having taken down the the bus system or having taken over the bus system of the country and people actually the government actually making the people to okay you can take the bus for free, we are a good government, but that is not the truth. uh, those kind of things were not, I couldn't find anywhere that uh, but with these things that I'm posting on the nest, I don't know if you can see them. Well, I will play one of them now.
Hey, she said she coming.
Okay.
Hi guys.
Hi, hello, Rebel One. We were waiting for you.
Uh, I'm
Uh,
I'm sorry I was late.
don't apologize. I'm always late, so it's okay. Don't worry. No, I was
How are you
telling.
guys?
Yeah. No, I was telling everybody
I'm
here.
good. How are you?
Basically, I found it. Yeah. I mean, despite of being criticized by some people because of me posting or some, I I mean, posting things that the media do not tell about things that might be questionable. The thing is that because of my experience, I think that it's important to everybody have as many versions of a story as part of the story they are. And in the case of George, after researching a lot, I realized that out there, all the things that you guys have done are not visible or mentioned directly or in the media or minimized or not given the enough relevance as they have. For me, there are things that, from the technical point of view of hacking, wow, they are amazing, and I couldn't find anything about that on any news that I could see on social media, on sorry, on traditional media. So can you introduce us about the context, Rebel One, and what's going on there? Why? What's the situation?
Okay, so the situation is that we are still, rallying and fighting to save Georgia's independence because we are literally losing the country to Russia. It's not just about Europe, it's about keeping your freedom and independence and you know, uh, everything that you have and everything that we had for 30 years, we are literally losing it. So we are still fighting, and we are trying to change the course of the rallies because the peaceful ones are not working anymore. And it's kind of hard to rally for a year every single day. It's This unstoppable rallies actually started in 2024 mid-April. So it basically means that we have been fighting for a year. So yeah, it's kind of hard. How this started? It's the whole Russian regime basically started with Joe Dreamers, the Georgian government. It started in 2012 when they came in power. In the beginning, they were very much focused on, framing and blacklisting former government UNM. So they used that type of propaganda to brainwash the people. And later, after 2016, Georgian government basically went harder, uh, using Russian propaganda on people. So for a real long time, people were misled, they were brainwashed, they were, you know, divided. So it was kind of hard to fight against the regime for a while, but in 2020 and in 2019, Joe Dreamers brought the Russian deputy Sergei Gavrilov in the Georgian parliament, and that's when the things went wrong for them because people started protesting, they started preparing for revolution. We even had an attempt to overthrow the government, but government became very violent. They started brutal crackdowns. They started, shooting rubber bullets towards us, and because of it, some of the protesters even lost their eyesight, and it was horrible. And after that, things went even worse and worse. And in 2023, Georgian Dream basically launched the Russian law that basically forms the Russian regime in Georgia. And since then, we have been protesting against the government, and people woke up and people realized how much they were lied to. And in 2024, we started unstoppable rallies. And first, it was during the spring. First, it was protest against the Russian law that was relaunched by Joe Dreamer's second time, because in 2023 Joe Dreamers basically backed down when they first launched the Russian law, but second time they basically formed the Russian law in 2024. And since then we have been protesting every single day, and after 28th May, um, we so basically Salome came on the stage and said that we have to fight for the elections once again, and elections was rigged. It was rigged. It was, you know, horrible because some people who wanted to vote for the opposition, some of them were terrorized, some of them were attacked, some of them were paid off, and the whole thing, the whole election in 2024 was rigged, and we proved it multiple times. And since the elections were rigged on 26th October, since then we continued unstoppable rallies, and till this day we rally every single day. The thing is that we tried radical things towards the government in 2024, and it didn't really help because we need more support because we don't have a justice system in Georgia. Justice system has been seized since 2012, so we basically don't have independent court, we don't have independent armed forces, policemen are also enslaved by Joe Dreamers. So we are basically fighting with our bare hands against the armed forces and enslaved justice system. So it's kind of hard to deal with it. And plus, every single day, Joe Dreamers basically, you know, approve the dictatorial laws that basically tries to silence the protesters. Currently, they approve the law against the free media, and it basically means that everything critical that might sound against the government will be punished, fined, and you might even end up in prison. And it basically means that Georgian government will control the critical media and also social media. So we are in serious trouble. And plus the thing is that Joe Dreamers are not just, corrupted government. It's a very violent, you know, team of people who are involved in some serious crimes that caused the deaths of certain people throughout the years. They are very violent, they are corrupted, they are delusional as hell, and they are fully under control of Russia. So basically, we are fighting against the Russian government. And right now, Joe Dreamers basically surveillance everything that happens in Georgia, and they spy on us daily. In 2015, Joe, Joe Dreamers basically allowed Russian hackers to hack the Tbilisi service hall, which basically means that Russian hackers took the whole data information of Georgian population. And since then, Joe Dreamers basically have full control over the population. And this is like horrible. But currently, since Anonymous, hacked the Joe Dreamers, they kind of lost their power, and now they are spying on us through the cameras. They are sending titushki to the protesters at the house. They are detaining everyone who speaks against the government. So it's basically, the full-blown dictatorship in a country that has been fighting for democracy the whole its existence. During the whole its existence, we have been fighting for our freedom and democracy, and now we are basically losing the democracy, freedom, and country's independence. Well, it is true that international partners helped us with the sanctions and all, but I personally don't think that sanctions will be enough for Joe Dreamers to give up their power, because they don't plan to give us new elections, because new elections basically means that Joe Dreamers will go in prison because they have a lot of crimes on their hands, and they don't want to go in prison. They just want to stay in power and to live their lives. So yeah, it's kind of horrible.
I have researched a little bit, read, correct me if I'm wrong, that a teenage, somebody who was, I don't know, 18 or around that, was sent to prison or just because he was in a protest, doing nothing, but he was sent to prison because of that in that context. Is that correct? Just
Okay,
for
can
being
you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, that I have read that somebody who was, I think, 18 or 20 or around that age was sent to prison just because of being in the place of the a protest without actually doing nothing. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
it's true. Yeah, it's true. Actually, currently we have around 50 protesters arrested. They are in prison. Most of them are very young, from 18 to 25. Like they are very young, and most of them, not most of them, but all of them are arrested because they were protesting against the government. They don't have actual crimes on their record, and they never had. But the government needs the most rebellious protesters to be arrested and to be in jail. Some of the young ones who are in jail right now, they are basically facing the 5 or 9 years to be in prison just because they wanted to get rid of the government. And they were just protesting. They were just going at the rallies daily. And jail dreamers are basically charging them with the crimes that they never committed. So it's horrible, you know. Every single day we have illegal arrests at the rallies. It's not just one case. It's like every single day policeman comes out at the rally and picks one of the protesters, and they are either fined or they go to jail. So right now we are fighting to, you know, to get rid of the government because they are not planning to release the detainees. They just don't want them to be out and to fight because those kids are very young, but they are also very rebellious. And the government hates everyone who wants to fight for freedom. And most of my acquaintances, they have been arrested. And yeah, it's really hard to fight against the system that has the whole justice system enslaved. We basically, uh, 1 week ago, UK sanctioned more than 200 jail dreamers, including judges who basically are involved in corruption. And so we don't have anything independent to fight within the law. We don't have a law. We have illegitimate government with its enslaved armed forces and court clan. So yeah, all we can do is to fight.
Yeah, basically, what you're describing is that the government, instead of listening to the voice of the people who live there, because uh, I think they're supposed to do what the people want, listen to what they want. Instead of that, they're trying to silence them and impose
Yeah,
like
exactly.
strategy. That's a strategy, and trying to yeah, set examples that okay, if you are going to do this, you are going to be in prison. You mentioned fines.
Yeah,
Heard that some people are charged with fines that they will have to spend the rest of their life to pay just for having been there for trying to be heard by the government. Uh, yeah, so that is really terrible. There is obviously no justice there. Government
yeah.
obviously. But
The crazy part is that even though we were getting fined over the wearing the masks, can you imagine being fined just because you are wearing the mask at the rally? Even though we were getting fined, we had a support system like certain funds and charity funds that were helping us to pay the fines. But 2 weeks ago, those funds and the supporting groups, their accounts have been frozen, so they can't help us anymore. So right now, people are collecting money to each other just to save themselves. And yeah, the more time goes by, uh, more damages we face because from my point of view, it's impossible to win this war in a peaceful manner, especially when you're dealing with the violent criminals who have literally bloods on their hands. They are willing to do whatever it takes to stay in power. They even during the you know 2024 in the December during the brutal crackdowns, jail dreamers even sent the titushki to the journalists, and journalists were attacked in in front of the camera during the live streaming. Two of the journalists were almost killed in the December. And jail dreamers don't avoid anything. They don't even hide that they are standing behind all these brutal attacks. They basically flex with it. So yeah, it's horrible. And
yeah,
yeah, we are trying. I don't know.
yeah, but okay, that is when it comes to protests with in person there. But on the other hand, I mean, at the same time, Anonymous launched a message to the government of Georgia months ago, and they started taking certain actions against
Yeah,
them in a cyber scenario. and well, from what I have read so far, they really hit them really hard. But okay, there unlike other cases, for example, what happened in Australia years ago, that
Yeah,
the government was willing to fix and mediate and yeah, talk and find a solution to what the people were claiming and what the government was about to do. Yeah, actually, they were open after seeing that the people wouldn't stop fighting and the activists would keep on doing what they were doing. They were open to communicate and establish a negotiation or listen to each other to find a solution. But from what you see, from what you tell me, not this is not the case, as you said. They are not going to. It's their way or the highway. There are no alternatives. But I would like to know about the the results or what have been done in terms of the activists and the systems of Georgia in the cyber Georgia. To put this number, I don't know, Tariq, if you can talk about that or not.
yeah. As far as I know, Anonymous is really good at pressuring Georgian government because every time Georgian government goes brutal on us, Anonymous basically starts, terrorizing them mentally. There were times when Anonymous shut down certain websites. They also have, as far as I know, they have full control over the database of Georgian government. They also hacked the bus cash register, and it's kind of crazy. And as far as I know, Anonymous works to expose most of the, crimes Georgian government does, because we are also fighting against the Russian propaganda and disinformation, and sometimes it takes more than just critical media to expose everything. And Anonymous is really good at pressuring Georgian government because, as far as I know, Georgian government is terrified of Anonymous because that's the only power they can't control. They don't have any control over anonymous activism, so it terrifies them. I also know that last year, Anonymous shut down the website of one of the Russian propagandist channel. Like it was a big Facebook page which was spreading the Russian propaganda, hatred towards the Europe and USA and stuff like that. So Anonymous just like hacked it and shut down the one of the main channels page. And I was like, wow, thanks guys. So yeah, Georgian government is terrified of anonymous activism, and the good thing is that every time things go really bad in Georgia, Anonymous just gets activated and Georgian government becomes like, oh damn, they're still here. So yeah.
Well, to be honest, I mean, just not taking any part on this, but if I do something and Anonymous starts to tell me that I'm doing something wrong or anything like that, first thing I will do, I will say, okay, I don't want any mess with these guys. I will, yeah, I would actually listen to them and try to find a solution because if you're smart enough, you don't you don't mess with these guys. You don't want to upset them because yeah, there's nobody has ever survived to that thing as far as
Well,
I
yeah, well, you know how it is when you're the government and you think that you are almighty. Uh, you know, Someone pops up like hacker and takes all of your data information and then leaks it on the internet, things can go really wrong because the data information Anonymous has, it's very sensitive. It's not just some like passwords or something like that. It's a full blown information about Georgian government, and it can be used in multiple ways to hurt the Georgian government. So you know, if Georgian government is willing to let Russian hackers hack the whole population of Georgia, then I don't have a problem with Anonymous to attack Georgian government and take anything from them. It's just justice. That's how it works. And if we had a, justice system, and if we had a something to hold on to within the law, Anonymous would not need to be involved in the first place. We have Anonymous support because, the government and court is fully corrupted. It's fully enslaved to Russia. And the Russia has been, Georgia's enemy more than 2 centuries. Russia has been, uh, you know, killing Georgian people for decades. Russia invaded Georgia at least 3 times. And, even for 70 years, Russia enslaved Georgia's, nation and country. Can you imagine being without freedom and democracy and independence for 70 years? Can you imagine not being able to do whatever you want, to go wherever you want because Russia dictates everything about your life? It's like a living hell. So in 90s we finally got back our freedom, and since Rose Revolution, we have been building the country from the ground up. And in 2012, Georgian Dream comes in and changes the whole course of democracy and European path into this something that we basically fought against for centuries. So it's unacceptable. Russia has killed so many Georgian heroes. It's unacceptable for us to go back to the USSR regime. Georgians are very sensitive about that topic, and Georgians are ready to die just to save the country's freedom. So when people are that patriotic, and when you don't have justice system, when you don't have any support within the law, you basically are ready to do whatever is necessary to defeat the enemy. And in our case, we have two enemies. One is Russia, and another one is the government. So we do whatever we can. And in our case, Anonymous has been very supportive, and I appreciate that. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know if anybody from Anonymous is willing to tell us, I don't know, as much as details as they want or they can. They think it's okay to share with us about what actions they have been uh, performing in that. I don't know, Tariq, Spider, if you want to share with us, I would love to hear them.
Well, I hope one of the guys will speak up. I would love to listen to that.
Well, okay, yeah, actually, okay, I have heard, for example, but am not, I haven't been there. That they were able to actually enter into the financial systems and gather information about everybody. Of course, they were not going to release all that because it's information about the people, but among that, they have information about the politicians, the corrupted ones, and that information can be used to expose their corruption and how they are benefited, having benefit from this, their link with Russia and all that. But I wish that any of guys from that are from Anonymous could
Well,
come.
what I can say about the public, things about Anonymous is that if anyone wants to check out Anonymous activism towards the Georgia, you should just type out on the Twitter hashtag of Georgia, and you will see most of the things because Anonymous usually uses that hashtag to spread the information about Georgian crisis. And I don't know what Anonymous members will tell, but you know I would love to hear them if they're willing to speak, or
Hello,
even if
Jules.
there is. Hi.
Hello,
What was
welcome,
the question?
Spider. The
Hello.
microphone is all yours, Spider.
Is our dear?
Just
Can
you are
can
able
y'all
to
hear
speak.
me or is
Hi, Spider. How are you?
So
Can you speak?
the hold on. Let's see. Hold on.
Yeah, can everybody hear me? Nobody can hear me. Oh no.
I can hear you, but it's a very, low volume.
But it's fair enough. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect, but I can understand you.
Y'all can understand me now.
Yeah, now I can hear you.
So what was the
I
question?
can't too.
Alberta wants to know what type of activism Anonymous has done towards the Georgia and in general towards the corrupted government.
All government ministry websites are SQL injected, every single one of them. So every data that's been collected over the years is what we have, and we're gonna keep collecting. We're not gonna even expose it or anything, because if we expose the vulnerability, and then they're gonna try patching up the vulnerability, and then we'll lose access. So we're not gonna even expose any of that until I can't even really speak too much on that. But yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, but those
You said what?
I got confused. There was some question or answer.
Yeah, what was the question?
Alberto, can you repeat the question? We can't hear
no,
you.
basically, okay. I don't want anybody to share information that I mean, more than they can share here. That is smart to share. I don't want to expose anybody. I don't want, yeah, as little as as any of you guys can share regarding all the things related to uh, mm, the, the targets of the systems of the government have been performed. For example, the bus systems and what actually each one of those actions, if you can say, trigger in the government in order to explain correct or I don't know. I don't
Because
feel
this
to.
is still going on. Because this is still going on, I can't really say much. But all I can really say is we have a lot of data off of the ministry websites. Every single government ministry website that they have, we have access to every single one of them. We also have minors and other shit that's going on in their background. Um, we have access to, I think, I think it's like 1,200 computers of theirs. um, I can't really explain much on what we're doing to their computers, but we're just gonna, you know, yeah, it's kind of a hard topic, but
I can,
I'm trying to
I
talk
can
without,
already imagine.
I'm trying to talk without telling. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to tell every single
Yeah, but I
detail, but
mean, if I was
I can already imagine what you're doing.
no, but I mean, if I was somebody who anonymous, I upset anonymous, and I heard somebody from anonymous telling me only that, I would freak out, and I would say, okay, how can how can we fix this? Only by what the spider has just said. That for me would be enough. Yeah, that's fair enough to know that. Okay, yeah, I'm in trouble deep. That's what I would think.
A message
Well,
to the Georgian government: we can shut down the whole Georgian government, and it'll just be that they can't really do anything or anything like that. We're just trying to get certain things to do certain things, and yeah, that's all I can really say.
no, I love this message. I actually have one more surprise for Georgian government. I'm not done with them. So yeah, there are certain things that can be told in advance, but effects always gets released. So you'll just have to check the Op Georgia hashtags because it's a anonymous way of publicizing certain things, but not everything. So thank you guys.
Of course. Y'all got any other questions?
Yeah, if anybody has any question, hold on. They can leave that on the chat of the space. My DMs are actually closed because I'm on one. But I just wanted you to guys to share all you wanted to share here. This space is not only for this moment, it's going to be converted into a podcast episode. It will be on everywhere, YouTube. So it will be a source of information for everything. I posted on the net an analysis, a summarize of all the things that went down on in this space before the Bio Spider started began speaking. Uh, yeah, so I'll be publishing that everywhere in order to get people access to these things that they are not being told by anywhere. So anything that you are willing to say and you can say it. Of course, I respect and I understand absolutely, but there are things that is not smart. You stupid to be sharing here. Oh, our strategy is this. Of course, I don't expect that. Just I feel. I think. Rebel, you love the message the Spider said. Well, I hope that that message is also a message that everybody in Georgia can hear. Is that the case? There are, the people protesting are aware of all the things that they are being done in by activists, or they are just protesting and they have no clue of this other battle that they are losing weight, but very bad. So, do everybody in Georgia protesting know about the system's compromise and all that, or is something that only a few people know there, the people among the people protesting?
Is she talking or am I talking?
I
I
think, I don't know. I
I
think you are
want to see
talking.
the
You can go
perception
ahead.
of Rebel because, as far as I can infer, she is somebody who is inside of of this uh, protest. So I would like to know if the general population, in terms of those people trying to express that they are not agreeing with the government, they don't want to lose. Uh, they want to become European. They don't want the government to do what they're doing. Are aware of what this group of activists are doing, or only some of those who are protesting physically are aware of that, and the rest is being actually not told by the governments and are not aware of that. How is the protest organized in terms of communications between these activists and activists? Uh, I would like to know that if you can share that or not. It's okay.
So you want to know how activists and actual organizers are,
No,
you know,
actually, no. Actually, I would like to know if somebody who is protesting because they don't want the government to do what they're doing, they want to remain part of Europe, for example, and they're expressing that on the streets, are actually aware of what the activists are doing and how they.
okay.
Yeah,
Then I think first Spider should speak.
They are obviously know because we keep posting about it. We'll tag them. We'll also send mass emails. We'll spam their phones. We'll do everything in our power to make them know that they're being hacked and everything. But they don't know any vulnerabilities. They don't know anything that what we have access to or anything like that. We're not gonna ever let them know on what we have access.
actually, I read. I'm not confirming or denying this, but that maybe they focus so much on the protests that are being the protests by the people uh, in on the streets, that they want to focus on that, and they are not paying attention to the systems, and maybe they have systems compromised, and maybe they're not even aware of that because of They, I'm sorry, this is not objective because of their
Yeah.
stupidity.
Now the thing is about Georgian government. To be more specific, Georgian government basically functions like Russian government. They want to pretend that they are almighty and they can't be defeated. So uh, they always come up with a delusional idea of, we are fine, nothing's going on serious. There are just some radical people going outside protesting and stuff. They are trying to discredit the whole fighting process because in reality they are pretty much scared and they are losing a lot of things throughout the process, including data information, including their money. They are also getting sanctioned from the USA, UK, and from European countries and Baltic countries. So it's like Georgian government tries really hard to pretend that they are, you know, undefeated. They want to, prove that nothing ever touches them, but reality is absolutely different. They are lying in front of the world that nothing serious is going on, but the whole world sees how determined Georgians are to get rid of the government. But the problem in Georgia is that Russia already occupies 20% of Georgia, so we have Russian tanks nearby Tbilisi, where I live, and we have to be careful in order not to cause the civil war or anything like close to 9th April, or anything like close to invasion, because Georgian dreamers are willing to kill people just to stay in power, and we have to be careful. That's why we have been trying so hard to fight with a peaceful manner, but right now it's not working, and we are trying to change the course of the rallies. But in general, since Georgia has been invaded by Russia multiple times, we are trying to, you know, overthrow the government in a smarter way. So I don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen because every time we try to go crazy on at the parliament, Georgian Dream becomes very violent and starts sending armed forces that basically beat up and brutally shoot at people. They are willing to do whatever it takes to stay in power and not to go in jail, because amount of crimes Georgian Dream has. I can, for example, tell you the one case. There are like hundreds of cases. I have a full list of exposed crimes that were basically investigated by the critical media. But one of the crimes Georgian Dream has is the Showy tragedy, uh, when it happened in 2023. 32 people died in one day because Georgian Dream did not wait. Georgian Dream did not care to take care of the reports when they were getting those reports about mudslides. They were getting reports in 2020 that mudslide type of flood was, expectable. And Georgian Dream never cared to take care of the people. They never even tried to evacuate people. They didn't even try to ask help from Turkey or from the neighbor countries. They just left the people to die. And in results, 32 people died in one day because of the corruptive, activities Georgian Dream has been doing for years. And this is just one case. Only solely this case can cause Joe Dreamers to go in jail forever. And there are plenty of cases. Killing 10 months old baby just to frame the former government UNM. I mean, can you imagine government that comes in power based on a killing a baby? And this is not just one or two cases. There are hundreds of crimes they have done. So they don't have a, they don't have a choice but to stay in power. And, for example, I will tell you another case that happened a few years ago in Batumi. A building collapsed because geodreamers gave the illegal approval to the worker who basically removed. Uh, Let me tell you how it was. Wait, I'll find the text. Oh, so basically in 2022, building collapsed and 15 people died due to the removal of retaining walls. And Batumi City Hall was the one who gave the approval to the worker. They didn't even check the safety precautions. They just gave the approval to the guy who was working for them, and the guy caused illegal construction in Batumi, and because of that, 15 people died, and building just collapsed. And no one has ever gone into prison. They just, they just blamed it to some worker guy, but the government never took the responsibility for its mistake. And this type of things has been happening in Georgia for years. For example, years ago, 12 years old girl died in the fountain because Kakakaladze announced the opening of the fountain when it was not even ready to be opened, and they basically laundering money through the illegal constructions and uh, you know corrupted system. They are making money off of the things that are low quality, and because of it people die, and that's horrible. I have full-blown list that contains at least hundreds of crimes. I can literally read it right now. I'm watching to it. You know what corruption does? It can cause horrible things. In Georgia, corruption causes death, and we can't do anything about it because justice system and courts, they are enslaved. They are enslaved by the government. So people dies, and Georgian Dream basically never pays the price for it. And do you think that type of government will go willingly, that has bloods on their hands?
Well, actually, I think seeing all this from outside and what you're saying, that the only way to um, hurt them is to hurt what they love the most important thing from them, that is probably money and power. So hitting that is they don't care about people dying. That's not part of that. Yeah, it's not something that they really care, unfortunately. But they surely care about them and their money. That probably money implies power or that way. I don't know. So I would be targeting that uh, in this case, but that's just my opinion for me.
Well, yeah, for example, Tbilisi mayor Gahakaladze, do you know what he caused? So basically, at the Vashli Jwari, he caused God, I can't believe I'm saying this. He caused the landslides in Tbilisi. So landslide was triggered because of the illegal construction. They were warned that it was not good idea to build the whole hotel on the mountain. But Joe Dreamers never considered it because they don't care about people's safety. So they built the whole hotel on the mountain, and it caused the basically landslide was triggered, and every time it rains, that landslide starts to pour the mud. So it's a matter of time when the things will go wrong with it. And this type of crimes has been happening in Georgia for years. So dreamers are willing to, sacrifice people's lives just to stay in power, to keep their money, and to live like Russian oligarchs. They don't care about people's safety. I will actually send you the list of their crimes because, if I'm going to start talking about it, it's going to take a lot of time. But I will send you the list of their crimes with its links and videos that proves that how guilty they are, and you'll realize why it's very important for us to overthrow the government. It's not just about the Europe. Europe is like the safety net for Georgia because when you are the neighbor of Russia and when you have been invaded so many times, you are not safe. So you need Europe to feel safer and not to be invaded anymore. But in general, what we are fighting for is to save our country's independence, freedom, and people's lives from the corrupted regime, which is fully corrupted by Russia. So, yeah. The worst part is that when Russia invaded Ukraine, lots of Georgians volunteered in Ukraine to help Ukrainians in the war. And you know what Georgian Dream did? They gave away Georgian soldiers' private information to Russia. Can you imagine how much type of betrayal they pulled off? When government, your own government, gives your enemy your private information while you are fighting in war against your own enemy. So I don't know. The list goes on. So yeah.
Yeah. So anything you more that you would like to talk about regarding this? Any of you guys? More than free.
Yeah, you guys can ask questions. I'm not here just to talk. I can answer the
No,
question.
actually, I want to respect. I mean, I just wanted to have this space. First of all, it was an honor to listen to what's
Yeah,
going on there, what has been done in terms of people taking actions, groups such as Anonymous
like,
being part of that, but I don't feel it's appropriate for me to try to ask you in details certain things. Except, I mean,
yeah,
leave you open to you because of you to protect all of you to not to release information that can be to something that can be used for them to be prepared for something. So I don't feel like I should be asking questions. I should be like giving you the freedom to say whatever
yeah, sure.
to say regarding this conflict, and yeah, and let people know and spread this message to as many people as possible. But I feel really uncomfortable if I enter into specific questions. Yeah, so yeah, that's why.
Yeah, guys, please speak up. So, any questions?
All I can say is keep fighting. What else can y'all do without getting caught?
Well, can you repeat the question?
I said, what else can y'all do without getting caught? Like, have y'all like
Without getting
yes, without getting caught? Like,
nothing. Honestly, nothing. We are being spied on 24/7. We have Russian system in our surveillance cameras. It's basically based on Babylon rules. So every time we go outside, Russian cameras are watching at us, and they know everything in advance. And you can't do anything without being caught because it's a full-blown dictatorship, and government controls everything when it comes to protesters and Georgian people. They can control foreigners, but when it comes to Georgian people, they basically surveillance everything,
uh,
including calls and stuff like that.
so they pretty much watch everything you post.
Not in my case. If they watched me, I would be dead by now.
Uh,
Not in my case, but in general, the activists who are exposed and known for the government, they are pretty much in a lot of trouble. They are getting fined, they are getting arrested. Some of them are being arrested at their homes, or they are being attacked and beat up. There are plenty of things. So all we can do is just to fight.
what kind
You
of
know,
other question? What kind of cameras are they using?
they brought these cameras from China, but the system and the servers are based on the Russian servers. I can give you the photos and the public article I found on those cameras, which are in English, and you can read it. But generally, we are controlled from the Kremlin.
Okay, send those articles to me.
Huh?
I said you can send those articles to me.
Yeah, I will send it to you. I think I sent it earlier, but I can resend it to you, no problem.
Okay. Um, what all do they? You say they monitor phone calls. What else do they watch?
They
Like,
watch everything the protesters do outside because at the every corner of Tbilisi there are surveillance cameras. They can basically even read the books protesters are reading at the rallies. So yeah, it's kind of hard to navigate the radical things during the rallies when you're being spied on 24/7. So that's why I think it's the best thing to do is to just hit where it hurts. I can tell details, but I have some great ideas. But Spider already knows about it, so I'm not gonna go into details.
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
So are
Yeah.
they watching me? Are they watching what I post? Oh no, Jesus Christ!
No, the thing is that since Anonymous hacked the Georgian government, and since 2024, Georgian government kind of doesn't have as much as strong IT support as they used to have. And currently, they basically need cameras and titushkis and thugs to spy on us. But when it comes to the internet stuff, they don't have as much as control as they used to have. They used to have a lot of control on the internet, but in 2024, they kind of lost control over that. Plus, Anonymous basically ruined their data information and took a lot of things from them. So that's why I'm so brave. So yeah.
There is a
Um,
way you can well depending on how high the cameras are, you can actually cover them up.
We tried that, uh, but one of the guys was arrested because of it.
Like I would say, like go at it from like behind the camera and then do it that way. Like,
Not if there are 360 cameras.
oh,
Tarek, you think we didn't try that? It's like cameras have no limits. I don't know, if you
exactly.
check my profile, there is a photo of the cameras they use. On
Okay.
every angle, there is a camera.
well, I can say that we have anonymous listeners here, despite Twitter has the feature of not allowing anonymous listeners in the space. Yeah, we're having somebody, at least one person, anybody can be listening to this, not being part of the space. So just, just for the record, yeah.
Yeah, I would love to hear the questions. We have few more listeners. So,
You mentioned that
sure.
many of your friends that are fighting against this government are arrested. Um, how do you feel
Yeah,
that? And I mean, how's the impact? I mean, because they are not people, a person. They are affecting. They have families. Maybe they have children. Uh, I mean, just the fact of being arrested because of expressing what you want and being in prison really is this can destroy a family, can destroy much more than affect much more than the person being arrested. Uh, so how do you feel about that and that people, friends of yours, have been arrested because of this? And what is your
I
fear?
think
Yeah,
the thing about the arrested people is that, before they take them into prison, most of the detainees are being tortured and beat up. Some of them even broke their faces. Uh, you know, some women were sexually threatened to be harassed and raped. So it's like physical and psychological torture. That's the worst part about being arrested. But the detainees, they have the ones I mentioned, around 49 people. They are not being tortured, but most of them were beat up when they were detained. But now they are not being tortured because people are very much, you know, protecting their interests in regards of, we always check them out. We always check out how they're doing. We always check with our parents. We don't leave them without attention. And since we are protesting every single day, Joe Dreamers are trying not to trigger our anger even more because, for example, if one of the arrested guys will say that they are torturing me in the prison, people will go crazy on the government. So government tries just to terrorize us through the brutal arrests and crackdowns, but then I'm not sure they will go through such things like torturing the guys who are already facing the 5 years and 9 years to stay in prison. But before they take them into the prison, they are going through hell. That's the worst part about being detained. Some women who were detained during the rallies, some of them even mentioned that they were threatened to be raped, and some of them were illegally forced to get naked in front of the police. So it's like the whole list of torture types. It's horrible. Even one of the opposition leader was forced to get naked in front of the policeman when she was detained. So if they are daring to do this type of things to the public politicians who are basically supported by European politicians, can you imagine what they're gonna do to the regular people? So that's why these arrests are horrible. It's not just like you're losing your freedom and you're sitting in, locked room. You're being tortured before you get into prison. That's the worst part.
yeah, that reminds me of the situation. I am from Uruguay, and the dictatorships in the 70s and early 80s
Yeah,
here were really terrible. The tortures in Argentina, in particular, women uh, being arrested, detained, taken to secret places, pregnant, and then when they gave to birth, those children were given to nobody knows. The grandmothers are always protesting, asking, searching for them. It's terrible. This reminds me of that situation. And Gold Star, you asked for the microphone. Do you have anything to add to say regarding this? Any questions?
Hi, Alberto. Thank you for having me up. I just kind of wanted to share my general feeling about I can't say I know a ton about what's going on because I haven't been following it closely. I've just been listening to the space just now. But I remember the first time that I saw an anonymous video, and it came out on YouTube or whatever other services going on back in, and it seemed so, and it like captivated a bunch of people, and then it kind of in my mind became, and I stopped believing what was happening, and I don't know. I I've always had an odd suspicion about anonymous. I can never really put my finger on it. The question
And what is your suspicion?
that
Oh God.
or do I have
What kind of suspicious goal?
already? Okay, this is how. Am I? Is it anonymous or black hat?
We're everybody. We're white hat, black hat, gray hat, green hat, blue hat.
Okay, fair. Um, are do you think that there are different sects inside of anonymous that
Of
are?
course, there's different teams that's branched off with the anonymous movement.
Oh,
There could be anonymous members that is against other anonymous members,
oh,
if that makes sense.
interest. Oh, okay. I mm, yeah. I mean, I I don't want to sound ignorant because I'm honestly a little bit stoned, but I'm just curious, and I don't know. So it's I'm glad to hear that it's not the government, but
Who told you it was what? Who was the government? The movement?
yeah, well, that's what it felt like to me when I was a little kid. When I first saw it, felt like it didn't seem genuine.
How?
I don't, I can't put my finger on it.
When we're risking our lives, not going to prison for life, or getting assassinated, or it could be literally anything. You know how deep the anonymous movement is, especially when it comes to like the actual hitman and people ordering shit and swatting and all of that. That's on a whole nother level. But we're talking about, I don't know, I don't know. Especially if we get caught with this Georgian government, if they catch any of the anonymous members in Georgia, what do you think they'll do to them?
Can I say something
Of course you can. Go ahead. Of course.
about the comment he made about Anonymous? Personally, I have been following Anonymous activities since 2011. So I have seen the things they have done to the corrupted government in general around the world. So it's nothing like suspicious or anything. It's just lots of rebellious people who are willing to fight, you know, against the corrupted government uh, through the hacktivism. Because, the hacktivists are the only people who can't be controlled by any government. And plus, Anonymous is a decentralized group of people. It's not just some organization. It's just the people who are willing to fight against injustice. So to saying that, they are suspicious or they represent the government, it sounds funny to me.
Well, I guess I'll have to apologize because
Well, I mean, you do got members that is
I,
for the government and still could be a part of the movement. No different than Edward Snowden. He was a whistleblower against the NSA, the CIA, and the FBI, etc. Does that make sense? So it's like you can work for the government but still be a part of the movement. You just got to know and expose on what needs to be exposed to the public.
yeah,
And imagine what would happen to Snowden if he goes to the USA and yeah, I mean he risked a lot for nothing. Um, yeah, that's a good example.
Does anybody else have any questions about the movement?
No, for me, it's like simple. It's a group of people. It's a centralized structure, and it's in every group of people. There are people that are doing things correctly, and people that are not doing things they're supposed to do. But that's just internal things of the group. I think that so far, I think you have been able to manage that pretty well because what we see, what I see are the results of your actions. I don't see any internal conflict. You surely have because after all you are people, and and you don't you surely have discussions, arguments, disagreements. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that.
Can I ask, what would be a good way for somebody to, like, a soft introduction to contributing to anonymous without, yeah, because I can sense the urgency in your guys' voices, and it's not that I don't want people to get hurt. Like, how could I help with my limited skill set?
You can, you don't have to have any type of skill set as long as you represent the movement and for the movement and keep pushing the word out and doing on what's right and what should be justice for everybody, not just, you know.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any other questions? Anybody else have any questions?
Anybody? Any other questions? If not, final words. And let's spread this to the world. For me, it's amazing what's going on there. Um, yeah, I've been following Anonymous for a while, and yeah, all I can say is that if I hear Anonymous sending a message to somebody, I wouldn't like to be that somebody. If they are pointing out somebody is doing things wrong, uh, okay, I would, I would be concerned. So my respects, uh, not uh, justifying or judging or anything. Uh, you believe in something that certain things are not okay, and when you see that somebody is doing those things that are not okay, you take actions. Basically, you defend those who cannot protect themselves uh, against those who have maybe a lot of power. So my respects. I don't know any final thoughts, you guys, Driver, Spider.
Only thing I can say is to Rebel is, you know, um, keep it up and yeah, that you have all of our support.
Thank you, guys.
Spider, any final thoughts? And by the way, thank you for all you have done. By the way, respect.
Of course. No, I just don't want people get the wrong term on the anonymous movement, which is another reason why I wanted to join the space today, because a lot of people have bad idea, bad thought on what the movement is about and um, how we operate and stuff.
I can respect that because there's a I saw a debate on Telegram about about real anons and fake anons and all of that stuff.
um like that's what really gets me is when somebody says, oh, they're a fake anon, or they're an actual anon. There's no such thing. An anon is an anon. I mean, we does
Yeah,
anybody know where anon came from? 4chan. It was all a
yeah.
troll, all a meme. It was just a name for itself type thing, and we just made it into a whole movement and doing protests and you know.
Yeah, basically somebody was
I,
posting anonymous. Uh, is this guy actually talking to himself and answering himself because it was anonymous post replying to anonymous, and it all started.
yeah, I remember that. Like I was I was watching the documentaries. I remember watching Hacker Wars, We Are Legion, and the Social Network. So I remember watching those,
I was in
and
most.
huh?
I was in most of those.
Yeah, I remember watching those anonymous documentaries, and I would watch talks from people who are like from people who are in and on like back in the day and stuff. So I was I was that was was learning about that. I got the mask and everything, so like I enjoy it.
I started with Anonymous in 2009. I didn't become an actual hacker, like so-called skid that everybody keeps talking about, until 2011. That's when I started
Okay,
making myself known.
okay. I'm still working on my skills and everything.
To be an activist or a hacktivist, or
Activist.
okay.
Well, I have to say, I have a mask of Anonymous, and yeah, when I was arrested for something that has nothing to do with activism or anything like that, the police pointed at us. Oh, and by the way, the hacker had an anonymous mask among the things that they said with a picture of that in the press release of the police. So yeah, that was funny. That was funny, but yeah, I have a couple of masks of Anonymous, and many people have. Yeah. And I have been watching V from Vendetta many times recently, and wow, mm, it's obvious uh, why the name the group uses that mask for yeah for an image of the group. And yeah, it's really interesting. It's really interesting how people see anonymous. They see, for example, here in my country, they saw a person with a mask of anonymous as the evidence of he being a criminal. That shows how stupid people can be, how law enforcement, justice systems are so ignorant regarding so many things. Yeah, so it's good that you're here to clarify to anybody not understanding how anonymous is, what is, I mean, that they are not a government organization is very important. Yeah.
Most definitely. And it's crazy in this world right now when an anon member or person that just supports the movement and they get arrested by the government thinks it's a big win because they took a mask off the streets. The whole time it's a never ending thing.
Yeah, and in my case, actually hosting this space is in my country is eventually putting me in danger of having somebody knocking on my door and raiding my apartment. Yeah, but it's okay. I'm doing what I think is the right thing to do. Uh, yeah, have you guys here speaking about what you're doing, something that I don't consider is okay, and somebody's taking action to do that. Yeah, fuck them. I mean, I'm sorry for that, for saying fuck, but fuck them. Yeah, anyway. Uh, I don't care. I mean, if I am doing this, is because I accept the risk involved on doing the right thing. Doesn't matter what. And I'm exposing myself here as the real person who can be perfectly identified. Yeah, but yeah, that's part of uh, uh, yeah of being part of this, even actively or passively. But yeah, it takes have a lot of risk. So I really appreciate that you have guys have been here talking about these things. And River, last thoughts before we end the space. Oh no, she just been raided by the. No, just kidding, just kidding. I don't know if she's there.
Did you ask the question, Albert?
Yeah, no, your final thoughts before we end the space about all this. A final message and your thoughts about all this.
Uh, the thing about Anonymous is that as long as you serve justice, uh, I mean, you can be part of them as much as you want. In my case, for example, in my country, they hate ethical hackers and non-ethical hackers. I mean, the government hates the ethical hackers. They even have the laws against them. So, can you imagine the type of dangerous it can cause to a person just to be, associated with the anonymous? So, I wouldn't say that we have lots of anonymouses in Georgia, but there are some people who are, you know, doing their job. But in general, when a country has democratic system, they also have certain laws that protects programmers and IT people and hackers and stuff like that. But in case of Georgia, it's not how it works. You can only survive if you serve the government. But if you don't serve the government, you're in danger. So yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Uh, yeah, I really understand because it's not the same. I mean, it cannot be compared, but I have lived a situation that was not very fair, and I firsthand know how it is to be in front of a justice system that you realize it is not just at all, it is not fair at all. So I get you. So this is not the ending of the story. The story is ongoing, and I, I, I really, I, I think that uh, the people will be actually be heard, and uh, things will be the way the people want, with the help of all the people expressing themselves, with people, the activists. So thank you for having been here. And this is not the end. I would love to have a future update on these things, and I would love to be. I am following all of you guys, so to know about what things are being done, and getting yeah, updated on the situation, that watching the TV or following the traditional media, I would never know actually. So thank you guys. I would just
Yeah,
end,
thank you guys.
yeah, I would just end playing um, the anonymous message to the government.
What you say? Were you saying something?
Yeah, actually, I was just then playing the anonymous message to the government.
I can't hear your voice exactly.
Oh, hold on.
Greetings, citizens of the world. This is a message from Anonymous to Georgia's illegitimate government. Your oppressive regime, led by the Russian-backed faction Georgian Dream Party and its figurehead Bidzina Ivanishvili, has betrayed the will of the people. Your violent suppression of protests, systemic corruption, election rigging, and loyalty to foreign powers reveal your disregard for democracy and freedom. By abandoning Georgia's European aspirations and crushing the voices of its citizens, you have shown that you do not represent the people, but serve the interests of those who seek to enslave them. This ends now. Through Operation Georgia, Anonymous declares cyber war on your regime. Your propaganda will be dismantled, your secrets will be revealed, and your tools of oppression will be rendered useless. Your attempts to control the people through fear and violence will fail, as will your efforts to silence their fight for justice. The internet, a weapon of truth and liberation, will be turned against you. To the brave people of Georgia, you are the heartbeat of this movement. Your courage in standing up to tyranny inspires not only us but the entire world. Your fight is for more than just your nation. It is for the principles of freedom, democracy, and self-determination. Stay united, stay strong, and never lose hope. Anonymous stands with you as allies in this struggle, amplifying your voices and striking at the systems that oppress you. This is a turning point in history. Together, we will ensure that Georgia's future is written by its people, not by corrupt politicians, foreign puppets, or oppressive forces. Justice will prevail. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Love you guys. Thank you.